Lagos, welcome back to the Morning Crossfire. Monday morning it is, 27th day in the month of July, 2020. The month will be over in a couple of days. How have you fared? 7 months down already in the year 2020. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Lagos, welcome to the final laps of the Crossfire on a Monday morning. All right, it's been promoted since morning about our discussion at this point in time. We'll bid you welcome. You can join the conversation on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. We're live right now on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info FM 99.3. Nigeria Info 99.3 on those two platforms. Feel free to join us. You can also send us your tweets on what's best way you think Nigeria can employ to defeat the Hydra-headed monster called corruption. Okay. All right. I'm waiting to hear back from you. An establishment that studies the management of funds by government agencies, Society for Forensic Accounting and Fraud Prevention, SFAFP. They recently, let's just say about 2 weeks ago, I think around July 16, revealed that Nigeria loses 2.5 trillion naira yearly to fraud and corruption. Let me repeat that. Nigeria loses 2.5 trillion naira yearly to fraud and corruption. The chairman of this body, SFAFP, Ilyasu Geshimbaki, he attached the state of corruption in Africa on weak institutions and processes. He said internal control and internal processes are weak in Africa, impeding the growth of the institutions. And according to Ilyasu, until we build strong institutions, corruption and fraud would continue to haunt African countries. Now, over the years, successive governments in Nigeria have evolved various measures. Just name them. Countless measures in a bid just to tackle corruption. How have you fared? You can answer that question when you get back to me on the show this morning. I mean, we have various programs to combat the menace of corruption in Nigeria. And guess what? There has been corruption in public service. From the ministers. In fact, let's take it way back. Let's go way back from the years of the forefathers, the founding fathers. Maybe not this pronounced. To the present era that we are right now. Remember when this current government, when they were coming to power, what did they hinge their, the chief of their aim was anti-corruption fight. Hey Joe, how well have we fared since when they came in? Let me bring in my guest at this juncture. Gbolahan Olojede is a chartered accountant and a policy analyst. Gbolahan, good morning to you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning, Sheriff. Nice to be here.
Sulaimon Arigbadu also joins me this morning via Skype. Sulaimon, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sheriff. Nice to be here.
Gentlemen, we have a conversation on our hands this morning. Let's be very brief and short about it so we can cover, because listen, even if we had all day, we will not be able to even it's the truth. It's the truth. But let me start with you. We have tried so many things. Even me, Otiremi, I'm tired. We have done so many things. I mean, yeah, I'm serious. What are the measures you think that we can deploy to effectively combat corruption in Nigeria, Gbolahan?
Like you described it, it's Hydra-headed, and it's such a shame that this is where we're still stuck at. Corruption is pervasive, almost innate in a lot of people, but there is, unless there is a systemic approach to dissuading people from doing it, we will continue to have this problem. But that is just one part of it. Someone said, I mean, part of what you read, said strong institutions, yes. Where do we begin from? Let's take a case of EFCC, for example. EFCC did not just happen because we felt, oh, we needed to fight corruption. No. The origin was that we needed to we were approaching the international community for finances, financial issues.
Right.
And they said, oh, you need something like this to be in place before we can hear you out.
Right.
So we quickly put something together and say, oh, this is EFCC, and then that is it. And since that time, OBJ did this then, since that time, we have never bothered to go back and look at that legal framework. The institutional framework of an institution rests on the legal framework of that institution. So when you have an EFCC that you appoint somebody and you've even limited the people that can be appointed, he has to be somebody from the security services. Why does it have to be someone from the security services? We have not bothered to address that. Then that person, look at the policemen we've had. While the guy is serving as a full-time officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, he still has a dotted reporting line to the IG.
Yes, now.
So he will easily have conflicting issues to deal with. So the legal framework is wrong. The institutional framework is wrong. How can you build something on nothing? That is where, and that is not just about EFCC. You see the same flaws across our institutions. You ask yourself today, the NDDC matter. Why should it require House of Rep for crying out loud? If you have an institution with a strong board, and the board is effective, they will have asked all those questions, they will have nipped in the things on the board, and there was no reason to wait for 1,000 years to come before and start having NDA all over this. It's a boardroom matter. The board will sit and say, CEO, this is your report, we don't want this, we don't want this. If the CEO is not performing your work, you are removing him. The board will say, we need the CEO to be removed. As simple as that. So we have serious problem with institutional framework in Nigeria. We're not building institutions, we're building individuals. When we voted PNP, if you flash back at 2015, a lot of people were leaning on the person. We did not vote, people did not vote APC in 2015.
Yeah.
They voted for that man, Buhari, because they think or they thought it represents incorruptibility.
Yeah.
We're putting our hope in one person. Not in the institution, not in the various institutions that represent the government. There is so little that man can do from where he sits.
Gbolahan, you have hit the ring on the edge.
Right. Make our sanctions effective. If somebody has done something wrong, ensure that he gets punished. No impunity. And the third and most important part, in my view, is prevention. We spend a lot of time and money and effort trying to catch people after they have stolen, after all the corruption issues have happened, rather than making it very difficult for them to steal in the first instance, or for that corruption to happen in the first instance. I wish we migrate onto that stage where we put 80% of our effort into structures and framework and things that make it very difficult for corruption to happen. And then spend 20% of the time on, trying to catch people after they've messed us up. It's very difficult.
It is difficult, and you have hit it right there on the head, Gbolahan Olojede. Let me come to Sulaimon in a moment. Sulaimon, this is all that you do. This is chief of what you do. Look at corruption cases, bring out corruption cases, go after the reports. Bring together some findings that you work on. As someone who is a stakeholder in what we're talking about right now, corruption, anti-corruption, you must have an insight into how we can manage it, how we can confront it, how we can combat it. Any ideas? Can you give a solution? Because I promised people before we came on air that we'll largely dwell on solution, how to bring an end to this. Can you help with this?
Yeah, I hope people won't come after you after this program for promising.
Let them try.
Really, and thanks for inviting me. It's quite frustrating, really. And I align myself with my co-guest on this show that the structural framework fighting corruption in Nigeria is defective. The legal framework itself has its challenges. Notwithstanding, we have seen that sometimes when you bring very strong personalities, even to a faulty system, they will make some impact. However, it's not sustainable. Life has taught us that. Arigbadu, everybody was judged as the best that that commission has had. Why? Why was it the best? Not only does it come with character, it comes with a lot
So,
of.
Sulaimon, is your radio on or something is on? We're getting a call back from this end, so it's not making you clear
I was
enough.
thinking that was from your hand, actually. I have only one thing. It's quiet now, and I've not done anything.
Okay, it's better now.
Okay. So, I mean, Arigbadu was there, but we know that in the fight against corruption, even though we scored him high, we will not adjudge his tenure excellent. Why? Because there was political interference. The same thing for Magu. Maybe Magu cannot be adjudged as being as good as Arigbadu, maybe perhaps for some competence issues, not for character, definitely. And there's no way a man can also survive because he needs to rely on the political process. He had an attorney general. Don't forget that Arigbadu ran into problems with Aundaka and he was run out of town. All will have a problem with the attorney general.
So, Sulaimon, I may have to. We may have to call you back, Sulaimon. It's quite noisy at that end. I don't understand what is going on. Okay. We may have to call you back. But let me quickly come back to you on this. I mean, you have really touched on some really interesting points. So apparently, I'm hearing that noise over and over and over again. I don't know what is going on really because this audio is not neat at all. So this is what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Let me call you back, Gbolahan. I will try and call you back as well, and we'll see if we can get a clearer audio from that Skype conversation. While we are trying to get back to Gbolahan Sulaimon on the show this morning, because hey, everybody that doesn't want us to talk about this thing, it will not happen. When we have people that that have experience that can help us out, you don't want us to talk about it. I mean, this is typically how we sound in Nigeria, right? Everybody is always after somebody. 16 minutes come past 08. So Tunde Abdulsalam is working on how to get a better audio while we put a call through to our guests one more time. Once we have our guest on the line, we'll try and get them in, and we can have a fruitful conversation with them. In the meantime, I'm coming to you, Lagos. Yeah, so I'm coming to you. Research has shown there is corruption in the Nigerian public sector because of societal pressure. This is according to research, that there is corruption in public service because there is societal pressure, because of tribalism, because of nepotism. This is according to research. So when we point accusing fingers at public office holders, I think the rest of the four fingers are pointing at us, Abi. Maybe that's what that means. Let me talk to you. 0700 993 993 993. I think Gbolahan is back on the line. But let's talk to just one caller before we have Gbolahan back fully on the show this morning. Okay, so Gbolahan is back. But quickly, let me talk to, let's see who we have here. Let's see. Hello, good morning to you.
Casually.
Hello.
Hello, good morning to you.
Morning, Sheriff. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Your topic this one is very germane.
Thank you.
Corruption in Nigeria is systemic and it's to every fabric of the society. So to deal with it requires a holistic strategy cutting across all sectors of our society. Even when you set up institutions, however strong they may be, they are going to be managed by Nigerians. And those institutions are going to supervise institutions that are being operated by Nigerians. That is why you are able to find corruption in every phase of society. So in my personal opinion, I think I have to go down to the very foundation of Nigeria, looking at how we are structured in Nigeria, looking at the issue of resource control, looking at how we bring up our children, because we also find corruption in the educational system. And that's in every phase of our society. So we need reorientation. We need to move the people to accept that the world is vanity upon vanity. What are our values? What are our values? So these are issues that are involved and why corruption is still thriving. Unless we address those ones, whatever institution you put in place, so long as they're being managed by Nigerians, you still have corruption.
Dr. Wega, thank you for sharing your thought. I really appreciate it. Quite precise. Thank you so much. And please keep staying tuned, all right? Appreciate your time this morning, all right? Gbolahan rejoins us right now. Gbolahan, they try to cut you off. Oh. Can you imagine? They cannot try, Abby. Oh, goodness me. I can't hear Gbolahan. Gbolahan, is there something you can do about your sound? We can't hear you.
Hello?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great.
This morning, they don't want us to talk corruption.
They don't want us to talk this corruption. Wow.
So, Gbolahan, let's move ahead very quickly. Corruption is a pressing issue in Nigeria. And, it appears that it is a scourge that is affecting Africa as a whole, not just Nigeria alone. According to that report that I cited earlier, that 2.5 trillion naira is what Nigeria approximately is losing to corruption every year. Nigeria alone, 2.5 trillion naira. And they also made it very clear that almost 25% of the African continent budget for public sector revenue is lost to fraud and corruption. This is huge on the continent. So perhaps, do you have any idea at all on how much percentage Nigeria loses to corruption, yearly? Because I'm wondering if Africa is losing about 25% of monies that are supposed to go into the public sector to corruption, then I'm wondering what Nigeria is losing, in that percentage ratio. I want to know, Gbolahan, what does this mean for our economy as a country at this time?
Well, we can see the effects all around us. For example, if I think one of the data you reeled out was talking about 2.5 trillion.
Right.
2.5 trillion naira. Our budget for 2020, the entire capital vote is 2.49 trillion, which we are going to borrow.
Oh my.
Yes. So we have capital budget 2.49 trillion, which we will be borrowing, but people will be stealing 2.5 trillion into individual pockets. It won't translate to roads, it won't translate to healthcare, it will not translate to education, it will not translate to anything other than some individual fat accounts. So we can begin to see the gravity of what we're talking about. So it means that this 2.5 trillion naira was something that could have been harnessed and harvested and pooled and deployed, then we probably will not have to borrow 2.5 trillion. I'm just saying. Though corruption, as we know, have several contexts. But but it is killing us. It is killing us as a country, because people are losing faith in the country. And when people say they don't believe in their country any longer, how can they commit to it? How can they serve it? How can they discharge their responsibilities, duties expected of them as citizens if they don't have faith in the system?
A very good example, a very good case study, Gbolahan, is the issue of the EFCC. I mean, a lot of people would like to talk about the NDDC, but let's take it from the EFCC, the body saddled with the responsibility to fight corruption. We know what is going on with the former leader of that body, which is, of course, who is Ibrahim Magu. What does this do to the integrity and the belief of the people in what EFCC stands for?
It rubbishes everything. Let me also mention that while all this is going on, we should not preclude the possibility that Magu may not even be the problem. We should not preclude that at all. Because one thing that has been established is that corruption itself is very powerful. And it fights dirty and bad. If you pick Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's book, Fighting Corruption is Difficult, or something like that, that's the title of that book.
Right.
She even related her own experience in which our own mom was kidnapped. I think it was the mom or the father was kidnapped.
The dad, yeah.
They sent her threat letters telling her that she will leave that position of a minister on wheelchair.
Oh my.
So that is to let us see the perspective that sometimes it goes beyond focusing on an individual and just believing that everything that has been gathered around Magu is true. If Magu himself, if we make this thing to be like God's will publishing people who benefited from this contract, it's going to be a whole messy stuff. Because Magu personalized or epitomizes that institution, is the symbol of that EFCC. That is why all of this is gathering upon his head as it is. Number one, I think Magu might have suffered, among other things, from competency issues. That is number one. Number two is the fact that he's just a strong man. He was put there by a strong man to be a strong man. But what the country needs is not a matter of strong men, because strong men will be pulled down, they could be compromised, they could be. What we need is a strong institution. How many times has the board of EFCC met since Magu was installed?
Right.
How many times have they met? Those are the questions. Who is he accountable to? Is he to the president who has appointed him? Because he's still a policeman. And when he finishes his term, he's meant to go back into the police. So he's also responsible to the Inspector General of the Police. And for us as citizens, are there levels of accountability that we expect from people like Magu? Are we getting it? Or we're just satisfied with the drama? There are a lot of drama. And right from Arigbadu days, EFCC has been noted for drama. At the end of the day, you do all this drama and you will still not be able to convict the criminal in case. But we have done all the sensationalism.
But you have mentioned two key things, and let's pull them apart one after the other. After we return from this break, you mentioned the issue of strong institution and the issue of drama. These two are actually in the lineup of questions that I've got for you. One concerning institution and the other one concerning citizens' role in all of these fights, or the understanding of corruption in Nigeria. Gbolahan Olojede is still with me on Skype. Lagos, get ready to jump on this conversation when we return after this break. I am Sheriff Quadry. This is the Morning Crossfire. We're back in a moment.
Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It is the Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Lagos, are you ready to jump on this conversation that we're having? We'd like to get your input into this conversation. It's very important that you tell us exactly how you feel Nigeria can defeat corruption. We've got a post up on Twitter as we speak, and would like you to actually tell us what you think about addressing the problem of corruption. Do you think that we can address it as a people? What can we do? What must be done? And we want practical, logical solution, not things that, can't be done. Something, we're getting serious here. We're getting very, very serious here. And that is why I said from the beginning that we'll try as much as possible to proffer solution to this particular problem together. Gbolahan Olojede is here with me on the show this morning. Gbolahan Olojede is a chartered accountant and development and policy analyst on the show this morning. Gbolahan, again, thank you for joining the show this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So let's start with one part of what you mentioned earlier, then we'll go to break. Let's begin with strong institution. You have said it this morning. A lot of other people have said it as well. But the question that some are putting forward is, what makes a strong institution? Are we not still talking about individuals?
Yes. The strong institutions, the root starts with the legal framework that set up that institution. In that legal framework is built what you call the corporate governance for that institution. So that in corporate governance resides the systems of checks and balances. So you don't create a super being that is not checked. So the law, even in the private sector, when you have a company, the law of the company is the memos and articles of that company. And it addresses the corporate governance. So these are the directors, the board, the this, the that. So that is the starting point.
Interesting.
Part of what the legal framework also addresses is the leadership. So it defines who can be a leader, who can lead that institution.
Right.
Because if you get it wrong at that point, you're going to have issues. Then it goes ahead to talk about governance generally. One of the observations I have made with some of the institutions we have, you can have an unwieldy board. There was one particular institution we were discussing last week that they had a 22-man board. And you need to ask yourself, how can 22 men ever agree on anything? It is or 22 men or women. How can they agree on it? It's difficult. How can they meet to form a quorum? How many of those people will attend the meeting enough to form a quorum? So how many times in the year will this kind of institution end up having board meetings? Corporate governance start to happen. Then the quality of the people you put on that board is also very important. So you have people being rewarded for political contribution with board appointment. So, okay, you did very well for us in that area. So let's put you on the board of this. And that is what we do most of the time. There's nothing wrong in political rewards. I'm not saying that is a problem.
Right.
But in the course of making those rewards, we need to find the right candidates. The person with the right confidence and level of integrity. And every party can give you somebody of that quality. Or let's go for technocrat. If you don't want, if we're not so sure about political choices.
Right.
So these are important parts of building an institution. Strong legal framework at the foundation, leadership, corporate governance, and once you put all those things in place, you will have a strong institution that is accountable, that will be held accountable to the people or to the people you spent to serve.
Indeed. Let's go to the phone lines, Gbolahan, in a moment, and get the thoughts of Nigeria on this show. 0700 993 993 993. That is 0700 993 993 993. When you're calling, a lady will pick your call. She'll try to get your name and where you're calling from. Once you can provide her with all those details, then she'll patch you to the studio and we can, speak to you here in the studio. So be patient when you're calling, all right? Andrew Akomolafe is on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. And Andrew says, good morning, Nigeria Info. What can be done is when we kill nepotism, corruption will follow. That's Andrew's logical solution this morning. David, let's speak with David very quickly. David is in Ibeshe Island. David, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Welcome.
Yeah. Your guests, they have actually covered the solution. That is, they've been able to identify that corruption is already in the fabric of Nigeria. And so one of the measures to check that is to start with the upcoming Nigerians, our children.
Okay.
So that parents now have a very serious duty to play. And the religious houses and the school. We do it everywhere where we engage all these children. Then secondly, they'll be talking of institutions, strong institutions. Why don't professional bodies bring directors to institutions instead of rewarding all these politicians with political patronage?
Right.
Let's always consider professional bodies to supply all those things.
Technocrats.
Then technocrats, thank you very much. Then your analysts have talked about political interference and this that just allow the corruption to be going like the immunity system. That you don't allow them to carry money for 8 years, and you said I cannot hold the immunity. Why? So, but what I can, and I believe these people, the Yoruba elders, that are calling for restructuring, they will address all these issues if all other regions join them before our election. That's one of the solutions. Then secondly, immediate solution I want to suggest. Hello?
Go on, David. We're listening
Hello?
to you. We're listening to you.
Okay. Immediate solution. Let us find a way, let Nigerians find a way of backing up this setup and monitor the money. Sheriff, help us call the Nigeria Labour Congress chairman or whatever it's called, whether it's president, so that he organize the kind of strike they organized during the Gbolahan, so that at least we make this syrup and monitor the money, so that we can give them the power. The National Assembly will amend the Constitution to give them the power to investigate and prosecute even criminal cases, even the military.
All right. David, thank you. Thank you for talking to me. Vincent has been on the line for some time now. Vincent, good morning to you.
My brother, good morning.
Thank you so much for being patient.
The thing is, first thing first, I just want to throw a little bit the line of the last caller. Let us look at in between the lines. Like your guest was saying that all of us, we pack our eggs in one basket when we voted in the current president. But be that as he made, all the people in the picture cannot help us. So, and I don't know how all the NGOs, the setup, the enough is enough. All of them they have gone cold. We need to fire up. First thing first. Look at the elections. You can see. So anybody that will come and bulldoze him or herself to just the replica of what happened in 2019 election. Anybody that participates in that can never give you anything because the person bulldozed himself way through to go into the this. And it's still the same politicians that can give. What we need now is the NGOs come out and galvanize and push push for if what you take to push for reforms first, electoral reform, so that we can bring in more people, because all the people on board now, they are heavily compromised, just like the past administration. Heavily more than compromising is just an understatement. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Let's speak with Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Good morning to you.
Yeah, ECK, Mr. Sheriff. I prefer ECK. I'm an African man. ECK Daniel from Otta.
ECK, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good topic. Straight to the point. You agree with me that corruption is becoming like a culture. And yes, people have been talking about building various institutions, that there's a need to have a legal framework. But you see, those things are alien to places where you have corruption as a culture. You understand? And corruption is encompassing. Now, if you look at nations that are able to surmount this pressure of corruption within a very short time space, emphasis on the Asian nation, the Asian countries, they had drastic measures that were put in place. You understand? If, for instance, Mr. Sheriff, you agree with me, forget this grammar, because those people that will still craft the legal framework, whether they are in judiciary or in the legislature, they are still part of the system that are corrupt system. If, for instance, Mr. Sheriff, that was okay, see money. The masses will mobilize to put pressure for process that's okay. See money, and the leader is decent enough to implement. We shoot you. If we shoot 50 people, Sheriff, if we shoot 50 people dead for stealing money, millions, if we shoot political people dead, I'm telling you, people will not steal again. So all this grammar English, forget it. It doesn't work in Nigeria. English does not work in Nigeria. What work is action. Action. People could behave themselves when we had a kick against discipline, the era of the Jagbon. They could behave themselves. And after they left, they did not behave themselves. So what happened? So we need drastic measures. That is my own take.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's speak with Innocent, then I will come to Gbolahan. Innocent, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
The issue of corruption in Nigeria, honestly, we are... I don't know, I really do not know. I've seen it firsthand, the kind of corruption that is perpetrated in our immigration service.
How does that make you feel? You saw it. How does it make you feel?
To say that I feel very bad or ashamed would be just an understatement as a Nigerian. All right, I can tell you, it is this whole thing. I don't know. I really do not know where it will take us to. Nigerians can go to any length in order to perpetuate corrupt acts. Nigerians, typical Nigerians can go to any length. Let me tell you what. If we must reduce this corruption to its barest minimum, it is time we began to lay emphasis more on how people acquire their wealth and not just on the wealth they acquire. I know what I'm saying is this. We live in a society where people get money. You say, babao, my guy, chairman. No one asks questions. Nobody tries to ask questions. You, as a father, you come home, you give your wife money more than you normally give, or your wife knows you work this place, and you are spending far more than she knows you earn, and she doesn't want to ask, Daddy, what is happening? My love, what is happening? Same with you as a father. Your son travels out and comes back in 3 months' time and buys 10 buildings. You never care to ask questions. This whole thing is more like we have accepted it in our culture, in our way of life. So many things need to be changed if at all we will make progress as a people in the fight against corruption. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Innocent, for calling. Appreciate it. Well, now let me come to you. I'm gonna circle back to what a caller said, and quite a number of people have said this same thing before in the past. That the only way to end corruption is by sentencing convicted corrupt individuals to death. Now, I want us to talk about it and make it very clear to people. Let me hear your position on this.
It's an emotional response to what is going on. So people are annoyed and they naturally feel that is the way to go. But we shouldn't forget that armed robbery has not stopped in Nigeria. The penalty is also death in most states. Criminal. But then, armed robbery is still. If you even take it to China, where people are being killed for corruption in China, people are still getting involved in corruption in China. As a matter of fact, parts of the world today where corruption is the least, when you go to the Scandinavians, the Norways, the Finland, all those countries, you know, or even go to Singapore, a place like Singapore, where people leave their shops on clothes and go home.
Right.
It is not death penalty or corruption that is driving it. No. So it's not about death penalty for corruption. We just have to reform the system and get it. So when people are seeing value in their environment, you go to a Singapore environment, for example, and you see everything proper, going on well, everything nicely structured. There is no incentive for corruption. And when you do it, you know that the system is effective enough to catch up with you and punish you. But that punishment is not death penalty. And it doesn't have to be death penalty at all to get to where we're going. It's not about just punishment.
But tell me this, and I want you to be extremely realistic, if that's possible. Before I go to the phone lines, I'm taking calls after you've answered this question. And it's a question we asked people online. Is this problem addressable? Can we correct this?
Yes, it can be. It can be. It can be corrected. And, well, a lot of people argue this with me, but I believe and I'm convinced that if we get leadership right, every other things will line up. And I have favorite examples in this same society of ours. When the late Akunyili became the DG of NAFDAC, in fact, before she became DG, some people have never heard the NAFDAC name before. They thought maybe it was created with a woman. And the fantastic job he did in that place was so impressive that internationally, across the entire world, we recognize the fact that something changed in NAFDAC. And the only thing that truly, it wasn't as if when she became the DG, she now brought some people on sworn oath before Amadioha that this is what we will do, or nothing beyond that leadership.
Right.
So once leadership says, this is where we are going, and you can see him acting along that pathway, all the other instruments naturally will just line up. So we need someone who understands problem, who understand the problem and has the integrity and the courage to confront it. It is not about an individual, it is about the system. And when I say somebody who understands the problem, it means you must understand that this is a systemic problem and approach the solution from a systemic perspective.
Indeed. Let's go to the phone lines in a moment. Before we take in our first caller right now, who is being processed as we speak, let me quickly take a message from Facebook. Ismail Olojede on Facebook says, let's be frank here. Corruption cannot be defeated in Nigeria because every person you see on the street is corrupt. It's just saddened that we are only focusing on politicians and the political appointees alone. If anyone tells this what can be done or that is being sincere only if we all Nigerians as a whole can change the way we think. If only we know that you can be rich when you work, not by stealing. That's Ismail Oladejo on Facebook. Now let's go to the phone lines and take some calls in right now. Musbao joins us right now. Musbao, good morning to you.
Yeah. Well, how are you? So me, look, I've been listening to your girls and all your callers. Yes, you're on the right point. But to me, my late father used to tell me that Amukunreru, Eluwolori, Okilenwe Wusale. Let me interpret. A killed man carry a load, and people focus on the load that's bent. Why can't you focus about the legs that bend? That is, we're talking about corruption. Do we ever search ourselves? Go to the grassroots. Let us search ourselves, you and I, and the listener. Let us search ourselves. Look, if my uncle, me and my uncle now, we are in disagreement for one thing. I told my uncle we want to rent a flat house. He told the person to pay 100,000 for commission, 100,000 for agreement, and I faced my uncle.
Wow.
This for why you couldn't give me a receipt for this? He said no. That's how they used to do it. I said no. Tomorrow he said government is bad. Government is bad. I told my uncle, you are wrong. You are corrupt. Look, how many of us can do that? Can the husband tell his wife that, look, my husband, this money, you see, how much you earn a month? How do you get this money? Look, all these government officials, they are from the grassroots too. They are from the home. Even we are talking police, they are from the home. Let us start from home. Honestly, without that, nobody can fight corruption because it's infeasible. Let us search our minds. Our moral value, we have lost it. Everybody wants to make money. I can speak with you now. If I go out and I bring a luxurious car, all my family will surround me, celebrate with me. They won't ask me, how do I get this car? Let's start from there. This is the only way to kill corruption. Except that we are deceiving ourselves. See, Jesus Christ call, this is how it's going to be. Good morning.
Musibao has been very, very straight to the point. Let's speak with David, who is in Yaba. David, how are you? David, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, David. Talk to me.
All right. I just want to say that what other people have said, they have made that conclusion is good, but I want to tell you one thing. If we as a nation can get our security right, our police, our military, if we can get them right, I think the corruption in this nation will stop. Because they know there's no place that police doesn't know where the criminal is. It will be a very big lie if we say our police they don't know where the criminal is in this country. They are the ones who are policing the senators, the councillors, the chairman, the governors. They know how money moves in and out in this nation. Both our militaries, both our immigrations, both our what do you call it, our customs.
Right.
If you can get them right, it is not that they will get themselves right. If we as a nation can get
the institutions
people right,
okay. All right,
can get them right, the corruption of this nation will stop. Because I can tell you, I'm going to say many of our high-profile the security people go and check their properties. Go and check the kind of car they are using. How much is their salaries? And we are saying corruption is in the office, corruption is everywhere. It will be if the security is not, if they cannot secure the property and the resources of a nation, people will steal it.
Right.
It will be stolen.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate your time. But I will come to you in a moment. We just, because of time, we'll quickly touch on the NDDC, Akpabio, the National Assembly drama in a moment because it's still corruption. But let's take this comment from Bilal Comrade on Facebook, and he says, corruption in Nigeria has strictly come to stay unless we all are ready to turn to God that begetted the heavens and the earth. All sections in Nigeria are overwhelmed by the corruptible set of individuals that claim to be elite in our society. Corruption is a thing of subject matter that needed an intensive deliberation to curb the existence of these anomalies in our various community. It's a long message from Bilal. Bilal, thank you for your thought. Prince Edward on Facebook says, oh, wow, this is long. My take is that traditional method of swearing in or installing public office holders should be introduced into the system of our country. That's the farthest I can go with that comment because it's quite long. John Awoke on Facebook says, corruption in Nigeria has gone deep in extended of winner in elected post become a looter and loser becomes the winner. Okay, yeah, John, okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around what you're saying. So quickly, Gbolahan, let's wrap off right now because we need to try and give 10,000 naira away on the show this morning. Quickly, on the NDDC, Akpabio National Assembly matter, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm not sorry. First, I'm not sure you are aware that Mr. Arigbadu has been back for a while now. So I'm thinking maybe she should be the one to take this last bit.
Yeah,
It's been on the line.
the tech guys are telling me that the noise is still persisting there, Mr. Arigbadu. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you quite well.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to get back in all the while, and I've been in for some time now.
I can see
And
you
thank
actually.
This is the second time he's calling your attention to my presence. Is the noise still there?
Yes, it is.
Then we'll do this another time.
That's why I didn't come to you. I really do apologize. I really do apologize.
That will solve the problem. No problem.
It's because of the noise.
You and you have a nice conversation.
Oh no. Oh no. Apologies. It's because of the noise. That's the reason I've been quiet all along. All right. Apologies for that. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sulaimon. Thank you for understanding. I really do appreciate it. We really must go right now. But in one word or two, let me have your thought on the NDDC quickly.
Well, what we run away from, or what we complained of in the last administration, impunity, is what we have found very prevalent again in the current administration. So what it shows us is that the problem is systemic. Whether it is corruption in private or public, every sector where you find it is systemic. And we must move away from the strongman approach to solving a systemic problem to a systemic approach to a systemic problem. That would be my closing words for today.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Crossfire today. It's always a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Sincere apologies to Mr. Sulaimon Arigbadu. We couldn't take him on because of the background noise. We don't know what was going on with the technicalities involved in there. So Lagos, let's give out 10,000 naira, shall we? We are almost out of time. If you want to win 10,000 naira, this is a time that you would have to call me, and I hope that my phone line doesn't get jammed. I hope my phone line doesn't get jammed, because this is usually what happens when we're about to play just a minute. All right, so let's play, shall we? We're ready for you if you're ready.
This is Just a Minute on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Who am I speaking with?
Yeah, Mustafa Akinbiya.
Mustafa Akinbiya.
From Tulere.
All right, so when we're done, just stay on the line so that the lady can take your contacts and your details, all right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, good.
Sir.
All right, are you ready to play Just a Minute?
Yes, sir.
Let's play.
This is Just a Minute.
Nigeria Info has a new mobile app. Where can it be downloaded?
Google Play.
Okay, I'll give you that. The first caller to contribute to our discussion on corruption much earlier, before the first break, was a male or a female?
A male.
Okay, you got that correctly as well. What is the Nigeria Info Instagram handle?
Nigeria Info FM Lagos.
Fantastic. Okay. Jimmy Disu will be joining the Morning Crossfire officially when?
Come again, sir.
Jimmy Disu will be joining the Morning Crossfire when officially?
5th.
Did he say 5th?
Yes. No.
Okay. Who finished as the Premier League top scorer for the 2019-2020 season?
So, Steve.
Okay. What are the colors of 99.3 Nigeria Info?
Green, white, yellow, black.
Okay, I'll give you that as well. Not really. It's just green, white, yellow. But I'll give it to you. 4 questions you've answered correctly. Stay on the line so the lady can get your details, all right? Thank you for trying. Lagos, this is how far we'll be able to go on the Crossfire. Many thanks to everybody that joined in on the show. Many thanks to my team, Zainab Yakin, Obatun Absalam, and of course, Olamide, who made sure that everything went well this morning. Thank you all for being a part of it. I am Sheriff Quadry. I'm back on your radio, 5 a.m. tomorrow. Calling Steka is here already with What's Up Lagos. Have fun. Stay here on the nation's #1 talk station, Nigeria Info. Good morning to you.